Hello there, people of the internet. How's everyone doing today? I'm doing alright, thank you for asking. So, I had a little run-in with probably one of the most vicious, hateful group of peace-loving hippies that I have ever seen. This is someone who was an anti-gunner. So, you guys might want to strap in on this one. I'm going to tell this entire anti-gunner story while I fire this AR15. Because I bet you that they would absolutely despise that. So I have everything written down, so I'm not going to miss a beat on how this went in the actual conversation. So I'm just going to dive right into it. Alright. Me and this person were talking. It was, the, hey, how are you? I'm doing alright, yada yada yada. Somehow the conversation got to me telling them that I was waiting on a rifle. I do have me a new rifle coming. You guys are going to want to see it. It's definitely a freaking dream rifle, if I do say so myself. But I tell her that I'm waiting on a rifle coming, and I just could not be any more excited. And oh goodness, then their anti-gun side came out full force. So the conversation ended up getting into them bringing up mass shootings in the United States. I completely understand where they're coming from with the mass shooting aspect. Mass shootings are an absolutely terrible tragedy, and they should be avoided at all costs. However, gun control is not going to stop mass killings. I say mass killings, not necessarily mass shootings, because if criminals want to find a way to kill someone, they will find a way to kill someone. But anyway, this person brings up mass shootings in the United States. We have our conversation, and I end up bringing up the idea that these mass shootings take place in gun-free zones, meaning easy targets for the shooter. They take place in gun-free zones. A lot of the people involved with this mass shooting could not legally use a gun or legally own a gun. A lot of them were underage, they stole guns. They were not legally allowed to have guns. Even if you were legally allowed to have guns, you weren't legally allowed to have them there, because it's a gun-free zone. That right there automatically proves that the whole idea of gun control doesn't work. Criminals do not care about gun control laws. Not in the slightest. So I brought that up to him, and before I continue on this, I'm gonna fire a few rounds. That was fun. 5 rounds to please any anti-gun liberals who might want to see some magazine restrictions that might be watching this video. So there's 5 rounds right there. Alright, so the conversation goes on. I end up bringing the idea that the amount of people saved from legal private ownership of firearms far exceeds those that are wrongfully killed by these firearms. A lot of cases, the people doing the killing should not even be owning firearms. To that, they didn't really have a response. The only response that they came up with was that guns are scary. That was their response. Guns are scary. Now, to this, I didn't really bring up the idea that their entire knowledge on gun basis was completely taken away from anti-gun propaganda. That's where they were getting all their information from. So of course guns are going to appear scary. They didn't dig into any other information or statistics besides anti-gun propaganda. It's only natural that guns are absolutely freaking terrifying. Hell, sometimes whenever I watch that propaganda, I'm scared of guns myself. Makes me go out and get my guns. Stay safe, safe from all the scary nonsense in the world. But this side of the point did have some validity, and I realized that these people are terrified for their lives. Like us as gun owners, we don't want to lose our rights, but these people are nothing more than people that are absolutely petrified over death, thinking that every single gun owner in the United States, and there's millions of us, they just think that we are completely radical, unlawful murderers thanks to all this anti-gun propaganda. This is definitely a problem. A lot of these people are just unbelievably scared to death for no good reason. And the only reason that they are scared to death is because of what they have seen, and I don't blame them. Oh, another 5 rounds. I like the way that car smokes. Alright, so during our conversation that we are having with one another, it gets to the point to where they bring up the idea that gun laws are a good thing. Gun laws would be a good thing if criminals followed them, but criminals don't listen to gun laws. So I brought up the idea that the reason that they think gun laws are a good thing was because the only propaganda they listened to was anti-gun legislation. If criminals did listen to gun laws, then the anti-gun areas or the gun-free zones would have no shootings whatsoever. But criminals don't listen to gun laws. The only people who would be affected by gun laws are the people who wouldn't go out, buy a gun, and use it to kill 20 people. Those are the people that would be affected by gun laws. I tend to aim at the grill to get some bullets falling on the car. Works pretty well. There's a bunch of smoke and debris flying around, which is kind of entertaining. I don't know why I took those earmuffs off. I'm not done. Alright, this is the part of the conversation where they are starting to get flustered because I am basically proving them wrong at every point that they're making. So they put it off on someone else. They break out some statistic charts. I do not want to get into these charts, what they actually were, how they were made, but let's just say that the people who made these were definitely anti-gunners. And these people made them based off of their facts and not the facts. That's physically quoted from some of the people who made this sort of statistic chart information. It's all based off of their facts that they chose to use and not the facts. And I bring that up. In fact, I show her the fact that it is not based off of all the facts present. It's only based off of a select few number of facts that anti-gunners chose to use. It is at this point that I again bring up the number of lives saved due to the number of lives wrongfully taken due to private gun ownership vastly outweighs the latter of the conversation. Along with that, the number of lives saved due to private gun ownerships that have stopped mass shootings also far exceeds the number of successful mass shootings that have only been stopped by the police when they've arrived on scene. But we don't hear about those because the left-wing media doesn't want us to hear about those. So we have to dig up those stories ourselves. And a lot of these anti-gun supporters don't go out and find that information. They base their stuff off of just what the left-wing has been telling them. So it's no wonder that they think this way. Another 5 rounds. Yep, that's a car. It's been shot. Another thing that I brought up was the Boston bombing. They had brought up the statistics used in these charts and the mass shootings, but I brought up the Boston bombing, and I brought up that if somebody wants to kill a bunch of people, they will find a way. I also brought up that high explosives like that are illegal, especially in a public area, but those people did not care. This is where the conversation got really interesting. Alright, so I was proving this person wrong at basically every statistic point that they were making. And in the end, once we reached this point in the conversation, they literally just said, "I am done with this conversation. There's no point in arguing with someone who loves guns." The hell's that supposed to mean? I'm proving you wrong, so you're just gonna say, fuck you, fuck your argument points. They go against what I think is true, so it's wrong. Like, at this point, I was just kind of dumbfounded and completely caught off guard, because I was having a legitimate conversation with this person, and I was bringing up some really good facts and statistics, and basically just, I thought that I was enlightening them to the way things actually were versus the way the media portrays them to be. And in the end, they were just like, "I'm done with this, I'm done with you. You love guns, so you're a terrible, terrible person." And that's just the type of people that we're dealing with here, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever it comes to anti-gunners, I mean, they've been presented with facts and information numerous times. Not necessarily the supporters in the civilian population, but the politicians, oh man, they've been presented with information that just disproves everything that they're trying to prove, and they just keep pushing these incorrect facts and this incorrect information that is based off of pinpoint speculation of what they want people to know. So I look at this person and I tell them, because they had just said there's no point arguing with someone who loves guns. I look at them and I tell them, you are the one who is hateful here. You know, I definitely respect people's points of view, even those types of people. Don't get me wrong, I don't agree with them, but I do respect their point of view. They are nothing more than terrified people who don't want to live in fear because they go to a highly populated area. And I understand that, I get that. But the way they're going about it is something that I don't agree with. So I look at this person and I tell them, yes, I am a gun lover. I'm a United States citizen, and I defend my Constitution. Not just the Second Amendment, but the entire Constitution. Now, I'm not a killer. I'm not a psychopath. I'm not a murderer. I don't fight physically. I might get into an argument, you know, from time to time. As you can see right here, this entire video is based off of me arguing with an anti-gunner. But I don't physically confront people, you know. I have no police records. I have no... I don't even have a damn traffic ticket. But because people in the society we live in have chosen to use guns unlawfully, as people will always choose to do things unlawfully, but because people have chosen to use guns unlawfully, law-abiding citizens like me, and most likely a majority of the people watching this video, will always be targeted. We will be targeted based off the actions of a few, despite the vast amount of good that our population has done. And all of this is just because of people being misinformed. There is a crippling amount of misinformation out there, and the amount of people who just believe whatever they hear without digging up any other sort of sources for this information is outlandishly overwhelming. I've been holding this magazine for a little while now, so I'm gonna empty it. Yep, that car's been shot. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this little story time conversation piece. We need to get people more informed on just what is actually going on. We need to get rid of these false statistics, and we need to help those that are struggling with their inner demons. Getting the anti-gunners properly informed is a good step forward. However, getting those who need help that would actually go about doing these mass killings is also an extremely important step forward. Both directions need to be had. Once we can get that, then our Second Amendment right will be fortified. At least a little. I'm not so sure if I want to say this, but we also got to keep an eye out for any treacherous politicians that don't necessarily want to see the Second Amendment stay. That being said, thank you guys for watching. If you want to see more crap like this, I normally don't get very political, but man, I had to share this story. If you want to see more crap like this, subscribe. If you want to see me shoot some more stuff, subscribe as well. I'm out here all the time. In fact, just yesterday, I should have recorded it, but I normally don't. Whenever I do my weekend shootings, I burned through like 120 rounds of 223s, 80 rounds of 7.62 by 39, 40 rounds of 54 rimmed ammo, and a bunch of other miscellaneous ammo. I normally don't record that because it'd be like watching golf. That being said, I do have a Patreon page and I would like to ask for support. I like making these videos and I like making this content, but it gets kind of expensive. And I'm not willing to give up my weekend shootings, because damn it, weekends at the gun ranges is just the greatest thing in the world. It really is. So if you'd like to support me on Patreon, I'll leave that link down in the description. If you want to support me without giving any sort of financial benefit, go ahead and just subscribe. I recently broke 100 subscribers, and it is, although it is a ridiculously small amount compared to some other channels, I compare myself based on who I used to be, not based on others and their achievements. A while ago I had a YouTube channel and I got 13 subscribers, and man, I thought I was the fucking bee's knees. Like 13 was an extremely high number for me, because before that all I got was 5. So this 108 I think I'm up to is a mind-boggling experience, and I'm very happy, very proud, and very thankful that you guys have decided to join me in my weekend shootings. How much money do you think I put into that car? Not necessarily in the car itself, but in the ammunition that I put into that car. I'd say I have about $5 grand in that car now. It's kind of in crappy condition for the $5 grand I've got in it, but I plan on putting a lot more. Do me a favor, help me out with that by supporting my Patreon. Alright, it's weekend shooting time. Sorry about this, liberals, but I got more than 5 rounds in this one. Well, that was satisfying. Smell the burning gun. I got a polymer sight up here, and every time I do rapid succession fire, you can smell it melting and burning. I love it. Nothing says cancer like front sights. So if I went about actually recording my weekend shootings like this, who would actually watch them? If you would legitimately sit back and watch me just shoot stuff, then, you know, let me know. Leave a comment. But it's not going to be story time. It's not going to be me showing off guns. It's just going to be me launching ammo, downrange, laughing about it. Might make some jokes every now and then. But it's going to be pretty much just this. Pretty much just that. Then I'll pull my mag out, show that it's empty, and I'll reload. So if you're someone that wants to see me just lobbing ammo down range, don't be afraid to let me know and I'll start recording, you know, me just on the weekend lead launching. Or if you have any suggestions on what you want to see me launch lead at, like, hell, any suggestions at all on what I can do on the weekend to make my ammo expenditure more valuable and something that people would want to watch more. So if you have any ideas, let me know. Or if you want to just watch me launch lead, let me know on that too. I feel like it's always entertaining to watch somebody just absolutely light up a car. I mean, look at that thing. That thing's been through hell and back 5 or 6 times. I hit it with tannerite. I didn't record it, but I did hit it with tannerite. And that's why the door is all mangled like that. It's just a pound. I can't imagine doing like a 5-gallon bucket full. That would send it flying all the way to the neighbor's house. Boy, wouldn't that be entertaining, but I can't do that one.